The NBA draft lottery and the draft is inching closer. Let's talk about that.
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, this is Chris Sabat, and you're listening to Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia.
Welcome back to Locked On Spurs, right here on the Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer for Kens 5 San Antonio. Glad to have you back. Hope everybody's having a great week. And we always thank you for making Locked On Spurs your first listen each and every day. This episode is brought to you by GameTime. Download the GameTime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. So what are we talking about today? We're going to be talking about the NBA draft, the draft lottery, but specifically, who are the draft stock risers and who possibly could be sliding down? And also, can it be true? Scoot Henderson is not the presumptive second overall pick in the upcoming draft. How does that affect your San Antonio Spurs? We're going to talk about it with the guy I go to for all things college basketball, draft lottery. He is Jack Thompson with San Antonio Sports Star, host of the Saturday Morning Hangover. This is your time to shine, Jack. I mean, you must be loving this. You must be loving this right now.
Yeah, this is definitely, when it comes to basketball, my favorite time of the year, no doubt about it.
Were you disappointed in some of the performances during the NCAA tournament?
I was definitely excited to potentially see Brandon Miller, show off on the big stage. They said he was hindered by some sort of injury, but yeah, he did not look good out there. Definitely did not look good.
Well, let's go ahead and dive in this topic right now. Let's start off with the draft risers. What's the latest, Jack? Who is rising up the draft lottery board, the mock drafts? Who are some players that are just really upping their stock, if you will, before the draft lottery and the draft?
I would say the two biggest draft risers in the recent mock drafts would be Taylor Hendricks. He's a kind of a wing power forward from UCF. He's jumping into a lot of the lotteries I'm seeing. Mm-hmm. And then also, kind of surprisingly, but not huge, is Kansas's freshman Grady Dick. He's also a small forward. Both of those I've been seeing have jumped into a lot of lotteries as of recently.
Wow. Why are their stock rising? What is it? Is it some sort of like secondhand knowledge, like scouts are just realizing that, hey, we had these guys down? Why has drafts in the past or this current one see players rise in stock? It always feels like there's always those couple of players right as the draft lottery and draft comes around that, oh my God, you got to buy. What is it? It's just simple scouting that they dug deeper into the numbers. How does that work?
I think for Taylor Hendricks, he's kind of definitely went under the radar throughout the college season. He went to UCF, so definitely not a highly touted program. Don't play in a huge conference. So there weren't too many eyes on him, and I'm not sure very many people thought that he was going to jump straight into the draft right now. Mm-hmm. But I've seen him definitely jump into a lot of the lotteries lately, and he's getting player comps of like Jeremy Grant, or if you go a little bit further back, like Antoine Jameson. Just a skilled 6'9", 6'10" forward that can shoot the ball, super versatile, can defend lots of positions. So I think they've been kind of digging deeper into his film and seeing that since he declared for the draft, that this guy definitely has the potential to be pretty good in the NBA with its positional size and skill set. And then when it comes to Grady Dick, he went to Kansas, so there were eyes on him all year. So it's kind of odd to see that he's making that jump into the lottery. I mean, he's, a 6'8", lights-out shooter. So it's definitely not a huge surprise when that's like the most coveted skill set in the NBA right now is size with shooting. So, but I'm not really sure how he's suddenly jumping in when people have had their eyes on him all year.
Well, let's start off with Grady. If the Spurs were to select him, maybe one of their lower picks that they have, or trade up for him, or whatever, they get him somehow, some way. They get him. What would he provide the Spurs, and would it be a good pick for the rebuild?
I mean, he would definitely provide the Spurs with shooting coming in day one. Like I said, he's a 6'8" forward, so he's got good positional size. He just also knows the game really well. He's got a very good basketball IQ. He's a great cutter, good passer, pretty good defensive player, and he's not a bad rebounder as well. So he definitely has NBA level skill set. And I think he would translate nicely into any team. I don't ever see him, becoming a star for any team, but he'll definitely make a lot of money in the league and play for a long time. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, I could definitely see him fitting in with this young squad. You're just providing more outside shooting. You look at these playoffs right now. Who's that guy from Miami? Strauss. Knocking down those threes after three. Austin Reeves, the long distance shooting. So yeah, it's a premium right now. He will provide it, but again, not a top 10 pick, right? I mean, are we pushing there for him or no?
Yeah, I think that would definitely be a reach in the top 10. I would go other people in front of him if I were drafting that late in the lottery. But if shooting is a premium for your team, then he would be one of the guys to turn to.
Right, exactly. Yeah, we're talking with Jack Thompson of San Antonio Sports Star, co-host of the Saturday Morning Hangover. He'll talk about his show and what's going on at the Star later on this show right here on Locked On Spurs. I like Grady. I think he would be a fantastic pickup. You're right. I don't see him as a top 10 pick. I'd be shocked if worst case scenario Spurs fall to 7 and they select him. I think there's still perhaps better talent at 7.
Yeah.
But Grady Dick definitely is somebody to keep an eye on. There's also a possibility of the Spurs trading down if they feel they can get more draft capital, and for players that they let's just say they get Wemby, great, and then with their other picks, see if they can flip some of that, and they got a big old war chest of draft picks. So we'll see how that handles. But yeah, Grady Dick definitely is someone to watch on. But we're not done talking. We're gonna get back. We're gonna talk about the other player that Jack mentioned right now, who is rising the stock, and as the NBA draft lottery continues to march even closer, as a big day coming, Spurs fans, it's almost there. We'll see if there's going to be any light at the end of the tunnel after coming out of last season. Let's go and talk about GameTime. Look, you got to get GameTime right now. Why buying tickets to your favorite events shouldn't be stressful. GameTime is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater near you. So when killer deals come on at like last minute tickets and their best price guarantee, you want to go to GameTime. You can stop stressing over the tickets and start getting hyped for the fun that you'll have. They have flash deals, last minute tickets, easy to find. You can buy tickets on the spot, every kind, every event in your area. You get images of seat views, the lowest price guaranteed, event cancellation protection, job loss protection, so much more. They got you covered. Don't forget, planning months in advance, GameTime has deals on tickets right up to the day of the event. Like I mentioned, there's exclusive flash deals for tickets for like football, basketball, baseball, concerts. Yeah, they got it all. And you want to get it right now. You can download the GameTime app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. GameTime today. Download it right now. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. And I also want to talk to you about Mudslingers coffee, drive-through coffee. I was just there recently, San Antonio, and let me tell you, I had the Red Bull Lightning drink, and I was already awake for the rest of my day. Look, they got dairy alternatives. They got so many flavors. You want a latte, they got it. You stayed up late the night before, you needed something, a quick pick-me-up, they have it right there. You want to go to Mudslingers drive-through coffee right now. And it's located in San Antonio, supporting the community right here in San Antonio. I urge everybody go to Mudslingers drive-through coffee right now, located at 2404 Thousand Oaks Drive, San Antonio, Texas, 78232. Go there right now. Open daily 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Once again, Mudslingers drive-through coffee. I recommend the Red Bull Lightning drink. Yeah, that'll really pick you up. Mudslingers drive-through coffee. Life is too bland too short, I should say, for bland coffee. This is going to bring him back. He is Jack Thompson with San Antonio Sports Star. Make sure to check out his show, Saturday Morning Hangover, over at the Star. Jack, so you mentioned somebody else that's rising in the NBA draft recently. What is his name again? Just to remind me.
His name is Taylor Hendricks. He's
Okay.
6'9",
Tell us about him.
6'10". Yeah, he's a 6'9", 6'10" wing out of the University of Central Florida. I mean, he had a fantastic year. He averaged like 18 points, close to 10 rebounds, very versatile defender. And he's a big forward with, some shooting range and is very athletic. So that's definitely the position with the skill set that is the most coveted in the NBA. When you're that big, can guard multiple defenders, and you still have, some offensive upside to you, that's definitely the most coveted position in the NBA right now. But we saw him do this against, mid-major talent. He definitely jumps off the screen when you watch his tape. He looks like a pro, but suddenly he's jumping into the mid to late lottery and like the 7 to 10 range. And he's definitely been one of the fastest rising prospects right now. His player comps come at like Jeremy Grant, who is currently on the Portland Trailblazers. Or if you go a little bit further back, they say he's got a little Antoine Jameson in him. So, a big wing that can defend but also can fill it up on the offensive end.
Do you think his position, the type of player that he is, could perhaps cause some sort of current roster shuffling? Because it sounds like the Spurs definitely have players in that mold.
Yeah, I do think like if the Spurs were to take a player like that, it would definitely shuffle around the roster. There's no doubt about that. But he's not the first, big forward wing that I would go and get if I was drafting later in the lottery after like the first 5. I think there are 2 ahead of him that I would draft, but he's definitely got a lot of upside. There's definitely no doubt about that.
Yeah, and do you think the Spurs can still afford a project player, even though they're trying to get this rebuild going? You think that's still part of a good piece of the direction they're going to, is to bring in, as you mentioned, like a project player?
It's hard to tell where we really set ourselves in the rebuild, because there were some nights where, the Spurs looked pretty awful, and when you're awful, there's time to grow players. Then there were some nights when, everyone was healthy and things were clicking and our offense and defense looked really good, and we took down some of the better teams in the NBA. So it's really hard to peg where the Spurs are in their rebuild process and who's going to be around for the long haul. But if there's a guy that you peg that's good enough and even needs a little bit more tweaking and growing, but in the end of the road, he could be, an all-star or something close to that, I think you kind of have to roll with it and kind of have to grow that player, because all-stars just don't fall in your lap every day. And even if it's a young guy that you think might potentially be there one day, I think you gotta take the swing at that kind of guy.
Yeah, I think the Spurs can afford a project player, but not too much, because I think they have one right now. Would you consider Blake Wesley a project player?
Oh yeah, most definitely, because he does things where you're very shocked that, wow, he's lightning fast. His first step is almost unguardable, but he's got a lot of work to do. His outside shooting is rough. And then I feel a lot of the time when Blake attacks the basket, he doesn't really know how he's going to finish the play, which ends up with him missing a lot of layups around the basket. So I would definitely say that Blake Wesley is a project.
Yeah, I guess what the good thing about Blake though is that not only I think he knows too that he is a project player, but the Spurs have other pieces at that position to kind of cover for Blake. From Trey Jones to Malachi. Sometimes it was just Sohan because he plays point. We've seen that, but I just think that I'm okay with the Spurs taking a project player as long as it's not too bad. Hell, I even think Wemby possibly could be a project player. I mean, am I stretching it too far there? I mean, I'm not saying he's a complete, reconstruction, but he's gonna have to learn the NBA game. What do you think?
Oh yeah, Wemby. I wouldn't say he's a project, but there will definitely be probably a season, if not like half a season, three-fourths of a season of lots of growing pains and lots of, you know, gaining of NBA experience, because he's going to come into a more physical league with guys who are, almost as big as him, stronger than him, as athletic, can do a lot of the things that he can do. Well, he's in a league right now where there's just no one that can compete with him, size and, you know, athleticism wise. But that's going to all change when it comes to the NBA. So there will definitely be a big adjustment and growing period for Wemby.
Yeah. Again, I wouldn't say he's a complete. Like I said, he's not a complete project player. I would say maybe project light. Basically just kind
Yeah.
of like fine tuning, smoothing the rough edges down. And I think he'll be fine. But no, I mean, circling back to these draft risers, it's good to know because of the worst case scenario that could still happen, and that being the Spurs fall. I think the worst they could do is 7, right? I think that's the worst possible
Yeah. 7.
situation they're in. Yeah, 7. So it's good to know there are players that are rising in stock, but at the same time, there are also players that are declining in stock, or at least I should say that more like just getting second looks, and that being Scoot Henderson. We're going to talk about him when we get back right here on Locked On Spurs with Jack Thompson of the San Antonio Sports Star. Hey, thanks again for making Locked On Spurs your first listen each and every day. You everydayers, that's what I'm going to call you. You're the everydayers. Tomorrow on the show, we have a very special guest. The only hint I'm going to give you is it's not Tim Duncan, but very close to Tim Duncan. So I'll leave it as that. So once again, thanks for making Locked On Spurs your first listen each and every day. Hey, I want to talk to you about PrizePicks. You got to get PrizePicks right now. You want to play daily fantasy, you got to use PrizePicks. Hey, look, how does it work? So you pick 2 to 6 players, and if they go on to score more or less than their prize pick projection, you go up to 25 times your money on any entry. No competing against other people. It's just you versus the projections available. PrizePicks offers projections on any sport that you watch. This includes NBA, NFL, MLB, NHL, PGA, NASCAR, tennis, WNBA. I can go on and on. Look, Eurobasket, cricket, they got it all over at PrizePicks. So entries can be made in 60 seconds or less. It's super easy, safe and fast withdrawals. Currently operational in over 30 states and in Canada. So you want to download the PrizePicks app right now, or go to prizepicks.com to sign up and play daily fantasy sports. First-time users get themselves a 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with promo code Locked On. You deposit 100, PrizePicks gives you 100. You deposit 50, you get 50 right back from PrizePicks. Don't forget it. Enter promo code Locked On and sign up for an instant deposit match up to $100. We're back right here on Locked On Spurs with Jack Thompson, my friend. And I guess sometimes I feel like you guys are my colleagues because the amount of time y'all come on here, from Pledger to Jimenez to even your dad, everybody comes on here. But nevertheless, make sure to check him out at San Antonio Sports Star, and he is the host of the Saturday Morning Hangover. We're talking about stock risers, stock droppers right here on Locked On Spurs, and one name that could possibly happen, that being Scoot Henderson fall to the Spurs. There's been rumblings, mock drafts, Jack, that his stock is slipping a little bit, that maybe he's not going to be the automatic number 2, that he can fall as far as 3, maybe 4 in that range. Why is that happening? What's going on here? Why should this be a concern?
I think the only reason why that could potentially happen is, like I said previously, that just size and shooting is such a key part of today's NBA game. And if you have, a 6'9" wing who can let it go from the 3-point line, can defend 4 positions, can rebound, you're going to do really well in the NBA. And right now, I mean, that basically describes Brandon Miller. That comes close to describing Thompson. He's 6'7". You got Jarris Walker out of Houston. He's 6'8". You got Asura Thompson, 6'7". Taylor Hendricks,
Yeah.
6'9". Like Cam Whitmore after him, 6'7". And then all the way down the list in the lottery, it's all guys who are 6'7" or higher. But at 2, you have 6'3" guard Scoot Henderson. So it's just that shot making wing forward is at an all-time premium in the NBA, and everyone's trying to grab that position. I mean, you look at all of the best teams in the league have a premier wing forward on their team. So everyone's just trying to fill that hole. I think that would be the only reason as to why Scoot could be dropping in some boards. I would still definitely take him as the outright number 2. I think he's probably the most ready player in the draft for the NBA because he's already spent time playing in the G League. Again, he's only, 18 years old. And he's got an NBA body. He's got, the shooting ability. So I think it's the only thing that's causing him to potentially drop would be just that tall wing forward, 3-and-D type of player is right now at an all-time premium.
Do you think this is another concern is that not only did the G League Ignite shut him down early in their season, but he didn't get that experience such as an NCAA tournament. Do you think that factors in?
Oh, yeah, that certainly factors in. I mean, there's probably, out of all the people that, watch the NBA, probably like 99% of them have never seen Scoot Henderson play. Like there's a very small percentage that have ever tuned into a G League Ignite game. But you flip that onto, watching college, probably 99% of people have seen Brandon Miller play. So there just hasn't been, the same eyes and exposure that you would get if you were, playing in the NCAA, and then even more so once you get into the NCAA tournament. I think that's really what has helped a lot of people rise later in the lotteries, such as like Anthony Black from Arkansas or Jordan Hawkins, who just, won it all with UConn. I think those two really helped their draft stock out by showing out in the NCAA. So I think just the fact of the very little exposure to the outside world, not the like basketball, lifers that will tune into any game no matter what. I think that's definitely hurt Scoot a little bit as far as his exposure.
Yeah, so for this too, that you get Wemby, he's not even in the NBA, but yet the NBA is showing his games. So there's more exposure for Wemby there and for scouts to watch if they can't make it to France or wherever he's playing overseas. But you shut down Scoot early. He doesn't get that NCAA experience exposure. We saw at least featured, it was when only he played against Wemby, and that was it.
Yep.
And that's all you saw. And I think it's going to be interesting. Do you think that Scoot will go to the combine?
Yeah, he better. I mean, I think he definitely should. A lot more eyes will be on him there. I mean, all of the scouts and the GMs, they all know who Scoot Henderson is, so it's not really huge for them. But I think it's big for him to go and maybe not. I mean, he doesn't have to test, but you got to play in the 5-on-5 and show that you can dominate, the rest of the field that's entering this draft class.
You can definitely see him going to the combine and then exiting after about a few days. It's like, okay, I think I've shown enough. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's really big for him and the Thompson twins to go to the combine, playing a little bit of the 5-on-5 action, and show that, while you hadn't seen us before play, we can go and play against this level of competition and thrive and dominate. So I think for those three, it's especially big for them to go and, show out at the combine.
I mean, would you be shocked if Wemby goes? I don't expect him to go to the combine.
Oh yeah, I'd be completely shocked. There's no need for him to go out there and, potentially hurt him or his draft stock, because he's the clear-cut number one, and there's no one even close.
Absolutely. He is Jack Thompson with San Antonio Sports Star. He is the co-host of the Saturday Morning Hangover. I'm going to make you very jealous right now, Jack. I shared the stage with Goku and Vegeta this past weekend.
Yeah, I saw that. That's pretty awesome.
You know, this is interesting. So there was the Riverwalk anime, the first one ever in San Antonio, and I was asked to host the convention. So I'm sure, you know, I'm an anime nerd. You know this. I think all of San Antonio knows this. So I go and they go, okay, well, here are the panels you're going to be hosting. And okay, you know, Chainsaw Man, cool, you know, cool. I'm down the list. You know, Demon Slayer. Oh, interesting. Okay. So a voice actor for Demon Slayer are going to be there. Keep on going down the list. You know, then I go, whoa, hold on here. I go, am I seeing what I'm seeing here? It says Dragon Ball Z panel, Christopher Savant, Sean Shamel, Goku Vegeta. So I tell the guy, I go, so they're going to be here, right? Yeah, they're going to be talking with you and the rest of the audience. So then before they even get there, I am like, like trying to keep it composed, trying to keep it cool. I'm in the sound check room. They're giving me my mic and talking to me about, you know, how long they need the panel to go on. And then boom, the curtains open and it's Shamel and Savant come in. And I just stood there like, holy crap, it's them. Well, it's so funny because then after they break the ice and everything, really cool. I mean, they were just bouncing off each other. You could tell they worked with each other for years. I mean, they could finish each other's sentences. So one fan at the event dared them to go, what would it be like if Goku and Vegeta fought over San Antonio breakfast tacos? So they looked at each other, they started laughing, and they did it, and they nailed it. And there's video of it if you want to see on my Twitter at Jeff G Spurs Zone. It was just a great weekend. When I was looking at them, I was like, if only Pledger and Jack and the other anime freaks that I know were here to witness what I'm seeing right now. Like, this is just
that's
crazy.
Pretty awesome.
It is crazy, yeah. But overall, I was surprised to find out that the Demon Slayer voice actor is a 20-year-old kid, like young 20.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I was not expecting that. But it was good to know. But I know, like everybody knew, you're not here for the anime chat. Well, maybe some of you are, but you're also here to find out what Jack is doing over there at the San Antonio Sports Star. Jack, what's cooking with your show? What's cooking with the rest of the Star?
Oh, man. Well, you know, every Saturday we got the Saturday Morning Hangover from 9 to 11. You know, me, James Pleasure, and our newest co-host, Katie Goodman. We're throwing down all the major storylines every week. If you miss out on anything during your busy work week, definitely tune in to our show from 9 to 11 on Saturday mornings. You can catch us on live air at 94.1 FM or 12:50 AM. Or you can always, you know, catch us now back on YouTube Live or Facebook Live. And then if you don't have time for any of the live stuff, you can go into the sasportstar.com and listen to us in the audio vault. And then during the week, if you're trying to tune in, you got R&R in the morning. You got Halftime with Mike Jimenez. And then to close it down, every weekday, you got the Blitz with Jason and Joe. We've got a fantastic crew over here. Lots of knowledge, lots of different takes from, you know, every end of the spectrum. You got, you know, me still in my 20s, and then all the way up, you know, to the old heads with Jason, Joe, and my dad, that we all got different takes. So whatever your cup of tea is when it comes to sports, I guarantee you we can fill it with what we're giving out. Great shows all around, and definitely worth your time to tune into any one of them.
Can you tell your colleague, Mike Jimenez, to stop doing that pose that he does?
I'm not sure that man can be stopped.
He needs to can you at least advise him? Like, listen, you're clowning yourself every time you do that special pose on your belly there, Mike. That's just embarrassing. That's just embarrassing.
Yeah, I don't think that man can be stopped.
He's out of control. Once again, he is Jack Thompson with San Antonio Sports Star. You want to make sure to follow him on Twitter at Jack_Thompson33. Can't miss it. Got his pups there. I think I heard one of them right now. So, yeah, they're there. By the way, it's a great picture of you and your girlfriend. It's a great picture y'all do.
That was at my cousin's wedding just a couple months ago.
All right, congratulations. So you want to see Jack's family there, his girlfriend and his 2 puppies. Make sure to follow him on Twitter at Jack_Thompson33. So for Jack Thompson, I am Jeff Garcia. We're going to put a lock on this episode of Locked On Spurs.